Greetings, sports fans. My name is J-Tags Tarpey, and this is the Seattle Women's Sports Report. In today's report, we're going to talk about the Storm's OT thriller loss to the Dallas Wings earlier in the week. I'm going to give you my top 5 plays of the record-breaking losing streak that we are currently on, and we'll talk a little bit about Abbey Murphy, who was drafted by the Torrent, number 2 overall, and we are all pretty sure that she's MAGA. So we'll get into that. If you enjoy the reports, please like and subscribe, share with your friends. But let's start by talking about the Storm losing to the Dallas Wings in an overtime thriller. As you have undoubtedly surmised, the Storm lost their home game against Paige Beckers, number 5, and the Dallas Wings this past Monday night. Dallas, who is 11-6, currently sits in 5th place in the WNBA standings, and I think they have a real shot at losing to the Las Vegas Aces in the finals this year, which is the best any team other than the Aces can hope for in, I'm going to say, the next decade. So I'll admit that I went into Monday night's game thinking we were going to get clobbered, especially after a 30-point loss to the now 12th place Phoenix Mercury in the game immediately prior to this one. But this Storm team has proven yet again that they are not going to quit and that they are not afraid of anybody. We're not only building chemistry in the Emerald City, we're out here building character. Dominique Malunga, number 14, had a career night, scoring 37 points and securing 12 rebounds. That makes her the youngest WNBA player to ever record a 30-point double-double. Awa Pham, number 11, scored 18 on 6 for 8 shooting, including 4 for 5 from three-point land. Natisha Heineman, number 2, contributed 22 points and had a game-high 11 assists. And Zaya Cook, number 7, came off the bench to score 18. And despite 3 key players being out with injury, the Storm hung tough for the entirety of the game. Down the stretch, we even went bucket for bucket with Paige Buckets Beckers. Her middle name is literally Buckets, and yet we still managed to take this game down to the final seconds of an overtime period. The crowd was in it the whole night, and it was very exciting to be a Storm fan up until it wasn't. But I'd easily put this in my top 5 Storm games we eventually lost, and we got the highlights for you to watch on your own, which I recommend. And speaking of top 5, that loss sets a new record for the most consecutive losses in franchise history. It is an 11-game losing streak. So in honor of our record-breaking run, and in the spirit of finding positives to celebrate, I now present to you my top 5 plays of the 11-game losing streak. Let's start with number 5. Awa to Jordy for the reverse lay. As goes Jordan Horston, number 23, so goes the Storm season this year. She's a lockdown defender that often gets assigned the best player on the other side of the ball. And, you know, if she played the game against Dallas, I bet she would have slowed down Beckers enough for us to win. But she can score too, and when she is playing fast, loose, and confident, we get plays like this one. Awa Pham dishes it to her. She's cutting to the basket. She leaps into the air, and with a very smooth finish, she puts in the reverse lay. And we got the highlight here for you to watch. Jade Melbourne, number 4. I don't have a particular highlight in mind for this one, but Jade Melbourne is the highlight. She is making great passes and commanding the floor like a seasoned veteran. So this spot could have been her no-look pass to Big Mama Steph. But she's also playing that same tenacious and chaotic style of basketball that makes her one of my favorites. So her banging into Cameron Brink, getting laid out on the floor and laughing about it, is the highlight I've put in this spot. Jade's putting up career numbers this season and looks markedly, that's a tough word for me. She looks better than the last time we saw her in a Storm uniform, which was a few seasons ago. I'm glad to have her back, and I look forward to keeping her around. And here you see just everyone's loving Jade getting physical. She loves it, Australians. Honorable mention here is Nneka Ogwumike's three-pointer at the buzzer. And, okay, I know Nneka is no longer plays for the Storm, and neither does Erica Wheeler, who assisted on this play. But Nneka and Erica have a very special place in my heart, and especially E-Dub. I got teary-eyed when I saw them play a few days ago back in Seattle when the Sparks came to town. But I want to see them both succeed, and they took down the New York Liberty, one of the Titans in the league, in a thriller just a few days ago. The game was also a celebration of 30 years of the WNBA, and there were a bunch of legends in attendance after the game. Nneka was overcome with emotion as she reflected on the women that worked so hard to build the league, that she has poured so much of herself into. It was a really special moment, and for that reason, it gets to be on the list. You can see the highlight below. She scored a three-pointer at the buzzer off a Wheeler pass, and then I got the interview teed up for you as well to watch. Number 3, Awa blocks Beckers. This play happened late in the game. It was a moment we needed one more stop to win. Paige Beckers was driving the hoop for yet another dagger bucket, and Awa just absolutely erased her. She knocked the ball into next week and let out a primal scream, then flexed her arms. She gave a nearby fan a double high five, and the crowd went wild. What I loved most about this was seeing her interact with the fans. If we are going to talk about the future being bright in Seattle, we need these players, Awa and Dom, to stick around. So watching her build chemistry with not only her team, but with her fans as well, it was a lot of fun to behold. And I got the YouTube video teed up for you if you just push play here. Number 2, Heineman winks at the crowd. Natisha Heineman. She's another player I feel a special connection to. I think a lot of us do. As a stud bud, her online presence gives us access to her personality and everyday life in a way that we don't get with everyone. This includes a very funny and sweet moment when she discovered Mount Rainier from her balcony after living in Seattle for a few days. If you can find the clip, go watch it. It's really funny. She has also been enjoying career high numbers throughout this season, and since she's so easy to cheer for, it has been very fun to watch celebrate those baskets. Now, on this particular play, this highlight that is number 2 in the top 5, she was ball handling at the top of the arc when her defender fell onto the floor. Heineman stopped. She looked down at the poor and helpless defender. She took a beat to savor the moment, and I swear to God, to you, she winked at us. Then she drained the 3 and galloped away. Just phenomenal. Cinema, as they say. And number 1, coming in number 1 at the list, is Zaya Cook cooking and then dishing it to Flage for the finish. We are one 20-point game away from this site being converted to an exclusively Zaya Cook appreciation blog. I love watching her play. I want her to be given as many minutes as possible. And in the game against Portland, which I went to, my wife and I went down to Portland, had a lovely time. She had a play that exemplified everything I love about her. She grabbed a defensive rebound, then immediately thought to herself, what if I run as fast as I can to the bucket? She completed the kind of spin move that wins you a platinum-level loot box and unlocks achievements like Spin Cycle and You're Making Us Dizzy. Then she ran down the court with her eyes looking everywhere. She found Flage Johnson, number 4, streaking towards the hoop and delivered a dime that was on time and under budget. Flage did the rest, which is another reason why I love this highlight so much. It's the perfect example of how good our guards can be when they're running the floor, looking for each other, finding each other, playing fast and loose. Really cool highlight to watch in person, and I love watching it over and over again. And then our last story here, Torrent draft Abbey Murphy, 2nd overall. This was on the 17th of June. The Torrent had trouble scoring goals last year. I think we all know that. And Abbey Murphy is definitely a goal scorer. So if you only look at that aspect of this edition, it's a great pick. The trouble is that Abbey Murphy is suspected of being MAGA. Here you can see I got some highlights for you of her just doing insane things on the ice. But, in this day and age, if you're suspected of being MAGA, you probably are. And although she does not seem as bad as Britta Curl Salemi, who actively works with anti-trans organizations, I'm still not that excited to have Abbey Murphy on the team. Judging by the comment sections of the Torrent social media posts, I'm not alone in my displeasure or disappointment. But, at this point, I'm not planning on booing her like most PWHL arenas do for Curl Salemi. But I'm also not planning on buying her jersey. And in fact, I'll probably keep wearing my Hillary Knight jersey out of respect for our former captain and, a silent protest. I don't think we should have let her go. Once again, thanks for listening to the report. If you like it, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for making it to the end. You made it to the 7-day forecast tonight, which if you're listening to this on Thursday, will be tonight. We got a game against the New York Liberty. I'm not going to count the Storm out, but this will be a hard one to win, followed by Saturday, June 27th. This is Pride Night in Seattle. I'm having a cookout with a bunch of friends, so I'm going to do a special primer for people who are just tuning in this Saturday, because I got a bunch of buddies that I want to get up to speed on what's going on. This will be another tough game for the Storm to win. I mean, every game is going to be tough for the Storm to win, but again, I'm not going to count them out. And then July 2nd, we go back to Phoenix and hopefully play a lot better than a 30-point loss. That's the report for today. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.